How's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to show you how I teach people how to drive a manual transmission in under 5 minutes. I think I've shown maybe 3 people how to do this, and it always works within 5 minutes. They're surprised no one else can teach them how to do it, and then I show them this in 5 minutes. Okay, so I always recommend finding a big parking lot where you don't want to be distracted by other cars or hills. You want it to be flat. The least number of distractions you can find, the better. Okay, what people don't realize, or they don't think about, is that reverse is geared lower than first gear. So it's easier to learn how to start off in reverse than it is in first, because that it's much easier on the engine. The revs won't drop as far down. You won't have to worry about stalling as much. So what I tell people is to put it in reverse and I'm on a slight hill, and to not touch the gas at all and let off on the clutch as slow as you possibly can, and the car is not going to stall out. It's just going to start going backwards without stalling. Okay, there, my foot's off the clutch. I used no gas at all. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'll do it again. Reverse. Oh, I stalled it because I did it too fast. It's been so long since I've done this. Okay, foot off the gas, slow as I can. A little bit faster this time. And foot's off everything, no gas at all. So you have people do that for about a minute in reverse, just doing it again and again and again. And they learn that they learn to sort of feel when the clutch is starting to catch. And they don't have to think about 2 things at once. Instead of the gas and the clutch, it's just the clutch, focusing on the clutch, feeling the engagement point. Now, after they do that for about a minute, have them do it in first, which is the same thing. They'll feel the same point, except this time it'll be geared a little bit higher, but you can do the same thing without the gas. Stopped. I'm not rolling at all, letting off the clutch as slow as I possibly can. You feel it engage, and you're moving. No gas at all. Okay? Now, you do that for a minute or 2, a couple times like we just did. Next, you do the same thing, first gear, except you're going to rev the engine just a little bit. I don't have a tach in here, so I don't know what I'm revving it to, but I'd say maybe 1.5, 2,000 RPMs. And just rev and hold. Have them hold it there, not move it. Now you do the clutch thing again, letting it out slow, and it'll engage, and it'll be a little bit easier this time because the RPMs aren't so low. I'm going to go back, I'm going to do that one more time. Rev the engine up, hold, don't change it, let off on the clutch slow. You feel it engage. You're still not completely focused on the gas pedal because you're holding it at a certain RPM. Now, after they feel the clutch engage and they're getting used to that, they're feeling how the gas affects the clutch. The next thing that you want to do is have them do the same thing simultaneously. Rev the engine up slowly, let off the clutch, feel both of them go, engage, and you're off. And it's really quite simple if you do that for teaching people or if you're learning. Because the hard thing is if somebody just gets in the car and they've never drove a clutch before, and they understand that this is the gas and they understand this is the clutch, and they try to do these 2 things at the same time, and that's where you mess up, because it's just too much going on, too much happening at once, too much to learn. So do the thing without the gas at all. Just use the clutch. Slowly the car will start. You don't need the gas to get it going. Here it is in reverse. Oh, I stalled it again because I tried to go too fast. I mean, you can even, instead of going forwards, you can also learn in reverse. Instead of, after you do the reverse start with no gas and the forward start with no gas. Instead of doing the start in first with gas, revving and holding, you can do it in reverse instead. So rev and hold, let off the clutch slow, and it'll go. And it'll be much easier because reverse is geared lower than first. So you'll be less likely to bog the engine down and stall the car out than you would be in first. I mean, you can, after you get used to clutch, you can start in any gear. It'll be harder on your clutch. You can start in second, not any gear. I mean, I could probably even start in third. I mean, it's not good for your clutch, but don't start in a car with a nice clutch or a sporty car. Start in something like this. This is my daily driver. It's a 1990 Camry. As far as I know, it's the original clutch. This car has 335,000 miles, and I've never changed the clutch. We've had it since 60,000 miles. So I'm not worried about the clutch in this because I know it can handle pretty much anything. Don't start in something with a super grippy clutch. So the person that was asking about this said they were getting a WRX or an STI or something new, and they didn't know how to drive a manual. Well, make sure you learn how to do this before you drive that car, because you don't want to be riding the clutch in an all-wheel drive car, especially not a Subaru. I've heard it's really bad to ride a clutch in a Subaru. You'll just rip the clutch all to pieces. So learn in a cheap old car. Have one of your friends that knows how to drive a manual take you out to a school or something in a parking lot and learn this. I'll give you a couple other tips here too. Actually, the WRX, or at least the STI and maybe other Subarus, have what's called a hill start assist, which is actually if you push in the clutch, have your foot on the brake, keeping it from rolling back a hill, and you put it in first gear. When you take your foot off of the brake to go to the gas, it'll hold the brakes on the hill so you won't roll back. So it makes it much more, I guess it gives you more confidence, because you don't have to worry about rolling back into people, because that really freaks people out when they're learning how to drive a manual. But this car doesn't have that. So if you're on a steep hill, I even still do this, and I've been driving a manual for 16 years now. But if you're on a steep hill and somebody comes up close behind you, just pull the e-brake, and instead of having your foot on the brake, then you can rev the engine. You rev it a little bit higher because you're on a hill, obviously, and you hold it. I hold it with my thumb on the button, so it's just my hand, it's not locked in. And I start to let off on the clutch, and as soon as I feel that engage point that you feel when you're learning, I let off on the handbrake, so I don't roll back, and it keeps me from having to move real quick and rev it real high and whatnot. Anyway, hope this has helped. Again, under 5 minutes, I feel like somebody can learn how to drive a manual. Maybe not feel confident and perfect it, because that's different for everyone. I mean, if I get a new car, it's almost like a learning process again, learning where the clutch engages, learning how much I need to rev it, etc., etc. So it's going to be different if you learn in somebody else's car and then get your WRX. You might still want to go to a parking lot and practice a little bit, because it will be different from car to car. It's different depending on engine and transmission and gearing and what type of drive it has. But anyway, hope this has helped. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.